Good evening, everyone. Gabs here, Digital Biz Stream, What's in the Glass. Good evening. I hope you all enjoy the snowy day. If I was probably somewhere around London, someone could probably turn to me and just say, quite nippy today, right? And unfortunately, I had to say to myself, and welcome to Digital Biz Stream. If you haven't been connected to the Digital Biz Stream before, what we're doing here is trying to working together with brilliant folks from the industry, try to understand what is the impact of all of these very unusual times that we are living, and try to understand, what all of these businesses are going through. So we're talking with pubs, we're talking with bars, we're talking with breweries, we're talking with general personalities. And again, the most important thing is to stay connected and try to learn from each other. My name is Gabs. I'm trying to be the best beer communicator I can. I'm based in London, and I'm probably around beer, if not 24 hours per day, not that far. And this is a great industry, and to whoever is part of it, I'm sure you're all understanding the beauty of it. And every single day we go live, we try to have interesting conversations. As I said, we have so much, focus on pubs. We're trying to help pubs to, thrive despite the very difficult time that we're living. You probably had a pint in this pub, and if you hadn't had a pint yet on this pub, you're really missing something. I used to go quite a lot of time on Clerkenwell because I pretty love the area, and also because my wife used to work around there. So there used to be a couple of pubs that were unmissable for me when I was going around the area. One of them is definitely this pub, which is our guest for today. And I met Jack already a couple of times in the pub. I remember I went once. It was a Siren tap takeover. And I also met a lovely Swedish friend used to work with me at Clapton Craft. So again, that was a lovely surprise. The pub is brilliant. It's a former white bread. Sorry if I say it wrong. Pub in, as I said, in Clerkenwell. You can reach it quite easily from Barbican and from Farringdon. And the Jack, the person that we're meeting tonight, who's the soul, is the man behind the place, is going to tell us a bit about all of the experience. Especially, he found some very innovative, I would say, ways to keep the pub going through these yo-yo of restrictions, as my friend Natasha said. So if you give me the chance to invite Jack in. Hello, Jack.
Hello, mate.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Do you remember the night, the Siren Brewery tap takeover?
A little bit. It got a bit messed up. Yeah, it was really good. We've had this conversation a few times. A lot of people come in this pub and people in the industry, and it's become a bit of a legendary evening. That one, it got very out of hand again.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that I managed to be around until a certain point. I maybe should have been stayed for longer, but hey, again, nice to see you. First of all, congratulations for all you've done so far. You've been super active on social for the sake of keeping the community, the pub going, and I'm really happy to be here with you and understand a bit more about it. And
no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm drinking a Gravity. Well, I think it's a West Coast Pale Ale. So I'm really pretty intrigued to try a bit of hops, because I'm not really having hops very often in these days. And may I ask you what you're drinking tonight?
I have a can of Siren. Here's Johnny Red IPA. Nice piney bitterness to it. Perfect weather. Still quite warming. It's very enjoyable.
Probably your choice is more appropriate for this nippy snowy day. You're right. Hey, let me put it this way. There is a question that I always ask, because it's one thing if I say it by myself, but it's always making much more sense when I'm asking, the guest about who they are and what is the place that they are part of, managing, owner of. So May I ask you, who are you and what is the Sutton Arms, mate?
Well, I have lived in this pub my whole life. My father is the owner. He's been here he always, if you ask him, he always goes, 30 years or something. But I think he's been here for maybe around 33 or 34 this year.
Wow.
Maybe, it might even be 35. I can't remember. I'm 29, so I've been here my whole life. I didn't think I ever would be here, but it is the only job I've ever had, and I'm still here. The pub has changed a lot from how I remember when I first started working here. Someone actually sent me a photo towards the end of last year, and you could see all the taps, and there wasn't as many taps, but the beer was shocking. It was really bad.
Oh, and, really?
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. There was Boddington's, Stella. We still have Stella now, but we used to have Stella Black. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Really weird lager, and there were some shocking lagers, and there were so many lagers. There's no need for that many lagers. I never understood it, and I even showed it to my dad. I said to him, so why do we have like 6 lagers? It's like, so anyone drunk, lager or bitter? It's like, right, okay. And now the pub has become, I mean, we've got a huge board and all these different guest beers, and we now have 4 lagers, and there's obviously stouts, porters, pale ales, IPAs, double IPAs, imperial stouts, wheat beers. It's changed a lot, mainly because of me. I did put a few threats in and said I'm going to probably go unless we start getting some good beer on. And yeah, it's changed a lot, and it's been for the best. I don't think this pub would have survived unless there was changes, to be honest.
100%. And again, in many people's opinion, around there isn't a better pub, real pub, with really good beer, and even the cask lover can find a piece of paradise in your place, right?
Yeah. We only have the 3 cask pumps, but I'm a massive cask drinker. I love cask. It will always be my first pick. I always want to drink cask first, and I want to make sure the beer is served to the customer exactly how I like it. And I mean, towards the end of 2020, we only ever had 5 points and spatch on, just to make life easier and kept people happy. Nothing too strong, and 5 points bitter, best bitter, absolutely stunning. And even the Anspach and Hobday Ordinary bitters, absolutely brilliant. It's one of my go-tos, and getting beers on like that, especially London breweries as well, it really brings people in. They know they're going to get a good pint of cask.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. And especially on these styles that you just mentioned, one thing is to have a contemporary pale ale or contemporary IPA on cask, which could be fantastic. But having a porter, bitter, or a mild on cask is just like elevates the full, like experience into something timeless, I would say.
Yeah. I remember when we put on like an unfiltered pale ale on cask for the first time. Customers hated it, absolutely hated it, and I was like, "Why? It's great." And then ended up putting on another one. I think, if I remember rightly, it was a Vibrant Forest pale ale, and we did that cask in one day. And I was like, "This is the murkiest beer you've ever seen." And people loved it. And now people come in and say, "Oh, you haven't got a hazy cask one?" And say, "No, I'll just have a pint of lager." It's like, you're mad. It's changed so much, and changed for the better, and it is an enjoyable time.
And in terms of customers as well, as we said, I want mine to travel from North London, where I am, to go through, Farringdon or Barbican and jumping for a couple of pints to your pub while I'm waiting for my wife to finish work or anything. And I know I'm not the only one. You have people traveling, and not just the local workers or people in there. People traveling to come to the Sutton Arms.
Yeah, you do always end up recognising a few people, and sometimes I do turn around to people and go, "You've been here before, haven't you?" They're like, "Yeah." Anytime I can get over and wait for my wife or my husband to finish work, I like popping here having a quiet pint. And it makes me laugh. And it's like, where do you live then? They're like really far away. And I'm like, oh, it's a shame you can't come more often. It's like, if I could live in this road, I would. I'd love to be here every day. And it's always nice when you get people coming back like that. And even when we were at the beginning of all this and decided to do the whole takeaway thing, which I know we'll get onto later, there was people travelling here from all over London to come and get a 2-pint cart and a cask. I was blown away by it. That was a bit of a moment where I thought, wow, like this pub is special to people, and maybe I don't feel it sometimes, I don't understand it sometimes, but at the end of the day, some people treat a pub like a home. They treat it like their living room, and some people feel that way about this pub, and I can't thank them enough for that support that they give us. So, yeah, I really appreciate it when it happens.
You know, there is this kind of myth about any place that serve contemporary beer should look like very different from a proper boozer should look like.
Yeah.
You know, concrete blocks, very loud speakers, fancy seats, very, very large, you know, a kind of bars, which boards, illuminated boards behind. Maybe not. Maybe we can have a good boozer, a trustable pub in the best way possible, just having good beer. And that's what I think you're doing, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that.
So this is the point. And, you know, there is a question that we always put out there, and is you know, again, I'm pretty sure all of us have something to say about it. But may I ask you how the Sutton Arms has been impacted by this critical situation since a year ago, I would say?
Financially, we've lost a lot of money. It is quite heartbreaking to see sometimes, and you think fuck, where did all that go? We're okay. We're in a better position than I know other places are. I know a lot of other people are struggling way more than what we are. We'll survive this. If it was to go on for another year, different question. I don't know. We're not struggling. We're going to be okay, but it's a miserable time. I do always look at this and I think, yeah, this is crap. This is absolutely crap. But we're in a decent position right now, and my heart goes out to the other pubs and bars and breweries that are struggling. And I'm seeing all these pubs that are crowdfunding, and I'm like, I want to help you, but I wish I could do more for other people. And if I can help anyone in any sort of way, I'm not afraid to answer that phone call or drop me an email, send me a text. If I can help you do something, I'll help you. I don't care what it is. Maybe not on a day like this, but if you want me to go and deliver some takeaway beer to someone's doorstep for you, I'll do it. But it is what it is. It's frustrating, but we're here, and that's the most important thing.
Well, you know, there's going to be a time where we're going to need as many pubs, as many breweries, as many drinkers, as many friends we can. So even just being able to maintain the presence of such a great place that we have, say all of these beautiful things so far, it's a mission, you know. Sometimes people don't understand, and being remain safe mentally is such a great thing sometimes in these days. So again, we do what we can. And another quick question, it would be, how have you adapt your operation, your pub, what you're actually doing, what you start to do since you couldn't do anymore what the place normally does?
As soon as what happened with me was when things started getting a bit quiet and getting a bit sour, and I was like, we're going to get closed down, like 100%. This is going to happen. And a bit of me was like, I hope we don't. And then there was this other bit of me where I was like, we need to get this sorted. We need to get on the right track. I didn't know how bad things was going to get. I don't think anyone knew how bad it was going to get. but I was still doing my thing. I was meant to be going on my honeymoon with my wife, so I did what anyone else would have done, and I got a load of beer delivered in, 3 weeks worth of beer, all that cask, and literally after it all got delivered, we got shut down. I was like, crap, what do we do? What do we do with this beer? And honeymoon got cancelled. I sat around for a couple of weeks, and it's like, well, why don't we just try and do it as a takeaway? Because we can't have anyone on the premises. I don't want people outside drinking. I don't agree with that. This beer should be taken away to be on your own or with your other half. We won't sell pints. We'll do them in 2-pint milk cartons. They did the job. And the first few days, I was a bit like, okay, we're getting rid of stock. That's the most important thing, because we don't know whether it's going to be credited or what. And 3 weeks into doing it, every single beer that we had, bar one, got sold. I couldn't believe how busy we was, and we was getting a queue down the line. I was like, this is insane. I'm doing it on my own. I need help. Is it like? And then my dad was trying to help, and I was like, you can't even help me. Don't worry about it. And I was doing 12 till 7 Wednesday to Sunday, and the queues were so stupid on Friday. And I'll be going out at like 5 to 7 sometimes and being like, look, I'm watching through the window. This person was here just before 7. That's the last person I'm serving. I've been working 7 hours straight. The weather was good as well for a while. I was baking hot. I was like, look, I want to call it a day. I've had a few beers while I'm doing this. I've had a few shots of tequila to perk me up. I need a piss. I need to go to the toilet and I need to sit down. But I'm calling it a day. And it just got busier and busier. And every week we was getting more and more cans and bottles in. It was getting more kegs and casks in. And there was a few breweries that really helped us out at the time. Because some people just kind of stopped brewing. They weren't delivering. Getting hold of certain things was so difficult. But I'd like shout out to Hackney Brewery and 5 Points, Anspatch, Siren. Those guys, without fail, I was like, look, I need a few cases of this. I need a keg of that. They delivered it, and they're absolutely brilliant about it. And without them, it wouldn't have worked, and it wouldn't have been so popular. And things are flying. And then obviously reopened.
How was that? Like, how was the vibe at that time, in your opinion?
It sucked. It sucked. It wasn't the same. A part of me did enjoy it. There's something about this world, the UK. People can't handle table service in the UK in a pub. They hate it, and
I know.
And I can understand why, because you're used to a routine. At the end of the day, you go to the bar, you queue up, do all your drinking, you go off. Some people just couldn't get their head around it, but I felt like we nailed it. I thought we'd done really well with it, and there was some people didn't like it. Some people didn't like how strict we had to be about certain things. We're a small pub. And some people didn't like it. There was a few arguments, but anytime we had an argument, I knew we was in the right, because we was doing the right thing and trying to make it a safe place for everyone and make people feel comfortable to come out to the pub. But it weren't great. And then obviously once we got locked down again and you could only do takeaways, click and collect, it's like, fine, that's not a problem. Don't mind that. But then the weather turned. Nobody wanted to come and travel. If they were traveling far, they didn't want to travel all the way here to get a beer. They probably had something more local.
Yeah.
I didn't blame them. And then once it happened in December, my dad was a bit like, we're going to deliver beer. I was like, God, no, ain't worth it. It is not worth it. Like, we are bleeding money right now. We've got no stock. We're going to have to get all this new stock in, and we've got to hope that we get a load of deliveries and get it delivered out to people. It's just like, look, let's call it a day. It's been 2020 was brutal, absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
I have days at the moment where I think I'm quite enjoying not doing anything. And then I have other days going, oh man, I wish that pub was open. I wish I was doing something, but there's no point in risking it. I want to reopen as soon as possible. I think everyone wants pubs to reopen, but I want it to be normal again. I don't mind doing the whole table service thing, but it's not the same. And I do miss them epic tap takeovers that we have every now and again and things like that. I don't know when it will be back to normal. No, that's kind of sad thing about it.
I spoke with many different people. As I said, I always trying to focus on the liquid, just to do not mention constantly the horrible, time we're living right now. And everyone said, yeah, okay, the beer, let's find the liquid. I miss the people. I miss the pubs. I miss the experience, the habit, all that elements. So I understand why you prefer to wait until the time is right.
Yeah,
I really do.
If we can open in a few months and it's the whole rule of six thing or whatever, yeah, we'll be open. Of course we will. But it won't be the same until people can come and sit at the bar and have a chat with you. And, like we've got some amazing regulars, like all pubs do, and like you've lost a bit of contact with some of them, and you worry about them. You want to make sure they're all right, and it's not the same having a chat on the phone. You want to watch them sit there at the bar, and if anyone's watching this that knows some of our regulars sit at the bar, a couple of them, they drink a lot. Like they're big drinkers. One guy, he smashes like 5 bottles of rum a week. Like, it's crazy. And he's the funniest, most loveliest man in the world. He comes to our wedding, great guy. And like every now and again, you just think, God, I miss him. I miss him being at the bar. And when things get a bit quiet, having 5 minutes, having a nice chat, asking how the family is. That's what I miss. I miss them people. I don't really miss anything else about it. I just miss them people that you can have that little break and have a chat with. That's what makes a pub. Yeah. And the other people that they don't work with them or know them that well, but they still recognise each other, go, hello, mate, how are you? I love that. It's great. And when we can do that again, it's going to make a lot of people happy. I know that for a fact. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I think I never saw such a pub like the Sutton Arms, because it's like, I do love many pubs in central London. Don't make me wrong. I do love the Harp, and that's sort of the place where I had the fire baptism when I was working for Fuller's. Someone said to me, "Are you working for Fuller's? Have you never been there?" And I said, "Not really. Why?" And then I realized why. And then, but still, Sutton Arms have this sense of a London that doesn't exist anymore, but it's hard, trying very hard to resist from tallest buildings and structures in metal and glass. Then, almost like for some reason saving the pub until these days. But there is, you can feel the sense of menace that is there, and even the area itself. It's like my favorite part of London is starting Angel and finishing Farringdon, with Barbican on the right and King's Cross on the other side. That is the real London for me.
Yeah. No.
As much as London Bridge, these two parts for me representing the idea that I always had about London, even before moving to here to the city. So wow.
With us, that well, I always say that we're a boozer. Like you come here to have a good beer. Like we're not fancy on spirits and wine. You come here to have a good beer. We'll do our best with certain spirits, but that's not what we're known for. And it always makes me like, you get the old customer that walks in and as soon as they take that first step in, they go, "Oh my God, it's carpet. They've got carpet on the floor. It's a proper pub." And I think because of the way the pub is laid out and the way it looks, a lot of people think that we are part of Fuller's or Green King or Shepherd Inn, whatever. People think we're part of this chain, and we're not. We are an independent pub, and I think that's one of the reasons why people do keep coming back, and more so now than ever before, because people definitely want to support independently as much as possible. Doing the whole takeaway thing, we gained a lot more customers when we reopened properly, well, as properly as we could. And we had so many new customers turn up because they would turn up here to get takeaways. and they were like, I can't believe I've never been here before. Like, I've never heard of it. And it's kind of the beauty of this pub. And it does make me laugh. Someone we know will bring a friend in for the first time, and they're like, I can't believe I've never been here. I've been to this place, I've been to this place. It's like, yeah, they're all great places. Like, I'm not surprised you've missed us. There are still a lot of great pubs around, and we are kind of the forgotten pub down the beaten side road, but in Clerkenwell, which makes me laugh because it is a busy, vibrant area. When
Exactly.
It's great, but yeah, I think that is the beauty of this pub.
And do you think is the governments or associations or just the customers having the power to help your pub and the other pubs within the industry? Who does have the biggest role to play, really, in the next months, in your opinion?
I don't know. I really don't know that. At the end of the day, it will all come down to the government. It's what the government wants to do and how they treat things. Everyone will have a different opinion on what has happened over the past year. I think at times it has been a complete shit show. I'm not going to even beat around the bush about it. It has been shit. This industry has not been treated with the respect that it should be treated with. They want to talk about saving the economy and things like that. I'm not the person to talk to about that. But if they want to do that, they need to start looking after pubs, bars, and restaurants first.
Yeah.
We do a lot, and we work very, very hard. Everyone does. We just need to find a level ground with the government and find a way to support pubs, bars, restaurants a lot more easier and evenly as well. There's some places that aren't being looked after the way they should do. We are yet to receive all of our grants and funding that we should do, which is pissing us off. From March last year, we've only received 2 of our grants, which isn't really any money. We're due a lot more. We've apparently been awarded it, but we're yet to receive it. So I don't know how
What's
many
going to
people
happen
this right now. But if there are other pubs in our area visiting that haven't received theirs, please let me know, because you'll make me feel slightly better, because I have to keep emailing people over there. Apparently it's coming, but there's no good us moaning about it. I know there's a lot. I mean, I don't know. We have to moan. We've got nothing else to do.
Hey, you know.
But it's a really difficult, frustrating time. All I want to know is, and I've said this really from day one, I just want to know where I stand. I want to know what the plan is. And there's never a real plan. Everything seems to change every week. One week I'm like, oh, okay, things are getting better. And then next week, oh no, things are getting worse. Things are getting really bad. And they go, oh no, there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And then all of a sudden, it's all crap again. And there's not enough dialogue. Nobody's really talking to the industry as far as I know or can see. I have to admit, I've turned off a little bit. I've kind of given up. But I'm trying my best to keep up, but I just can't be bothered with it anymore. I'm sick of it.
There are some players out there or organizations which are trying to unify every voice into a single one. But there are voices which are louder than some other ones. So when that happens, you can't really rely on who gives bigger space to these louder voices out there.
Yeah.
So Natasha, who's commenting right now, which we both know quite well, she did a lot of great job for the pub industry through Mother Kelly's or other, pubs or groups that she's managing, and I see the actual confusion. There is a voice now saying that pubs should reopen in April without serving any alcohol, and I'm like,
I mean that made me laugh. That's made me laugh more than anything else so far this year. It was hilarious, especially for the fact I shut down our kitchen. It was a waste of time having the kitchen. And it's like, well, who wants to go to this pub to just drink lime and soda for 4 hours? What's the point? It's a waste of time. That I don't necessarily believe that. I feel like that's a couple of newspapers maybe getting a bit bored and creating a story. But I wouldn't put it past the government at all. I wouldn't be shocked if they turned around next week and said, "Yeah, that's what we're going to do." I'll be like, "You lot have lost it." And if that is to happen, I'm going to turn around to my dad and say, "Game's gone. It's finished. Pack up. We're not doing it anymore. I can't do it. I'll go back to college that I dropped out of, and I'm going to find a new trade because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard."
This can't happen. We need the Sutton Arms. We need you. So please, let's make sure we are on the right direction with everything. And what plans do you have? And what do you propose in the future for our industry? These are questions which already you partially answer. But I always like to making sure we do have a positive message to finish with. And making everyone tonight having a beer in peace as much as we can.
First things first. As soon as it goes back to normal, when we can interact properly with each other and mix groups. I've mentioned it already to my dad and my wife and a couple of people in the industry. I'm going to be throwing a bit of a party here, 100%. On a Saturday night, because it'll be a lot quieter in the area, but be like an invite-only kind of thing to people in the industry, locals of the pub, people from breweries, people like yourself that just come along, just have a good drink and catch up and chat and also get together and speak to each other and learn from each other about the past year, because I know for a fact there are certain things I got completely wrong, and I look back at it now, and I won't bore people with it, but there's certain things I look back and go, I did that wrong. I should have done this in a better way, and then there's other things I go, I nailed that. I know I did, and I can pass that information on to someone, and we can all talk to each other and learn about this and go, maybe I can improve my pub or bar because this person helped me do it. I'm always up for learning something new for someone else. If it can help me and I can help that person, great. Because we all need to stick together as much as possible right now. I love going to other places and having a drink and speaking to them and how they've dealt with things and just getting away from here at the same time, because you do need a break, especially for me as I live here as well. Anytime I get to be out of here, the better. And that's what people like Johnny at the Old Fountain, amazing bloke. The amount of times I've been out with him and have a beer, and it's like, oh, you do this that way. And it's like, I'm going to nick that off you. I'm going to do it. It's just an example. There's amazing people in this area, people that sort of lamb have done us favours. I just hope that when we do go back to normal, people don't forget how brutal 2020 was, and I think people have maybe learned as well that it has been a tough time for everyone, and when we do get back to normal, it's going to be this amazing experience of being able to actually have a beer, mixing around, but having a party at the same time. But I don't want it to go too far where it just gets stupidly out of hand and there's police everywhere around London, like worse than ever. I've got this slight concern about it, but at the same time, I'm not going to blame people.
No, not at all.
There's some people who actually know I bump into that they've not been drinking. Like they did drink. As soon as this all happened, they just stopped drinking. They're like, I'm not drinking until I can go to the pub normally. And I'm like, oh man, when that day happens, shit's getting real. Like it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad, but it's going to be quite funny at the same time. And I look forward to that day. I really do.
The third summer of love, the third summer of love again, man. We need
But,
it.
yeah, I just want to be able to welcome people in here. Normally, I've already been thinking of like the first sort of tap takeover, which I kind of want to do over a weekend rather than one night,
Okay.
and maybe do that like once a month. Just get a pallet of beer off of a brewery and put it on all weekend. Different casks constantly on, different kegs. And one thing that we really want to do, we came close to when we had to serve food. Because it shut down the kitchen, we nearly started having a pop-up kitchen. It didn't happen.
How beautiful would have been. Oh,
yeah,
man.
in the end, we just did cheese toasties, which went down quite well. But yeah, a pop-up kitchen here will be pretty amazing. I spoke to a couple of people that I've got to know really well. Their food's exceptional. If we can get that going with the incredible beer that we already put on, this pub will get stronger and stronger. And I really hope that does happen, because even if for whatever reason one day I decide I don't want to be here, then that next person's got the layers to keep this pub going and keeping it alive. Because this pub doesn't need to change. It doesn't need to change how it looks. It's a proper pub. I don't like the carpet. Some people do. People love it. But people come here because it's a boozer. And to be honest with you, it don't really matter sort of what beers you put on sometimes. People just come here because it's the environment. And that's what makes a pub. It's the environment and the people. Yeah. And that's the most important thing. So hopefully we get there soon. And I look forward to that day. And look forward to you coming back for a pint as well. We can sit down and talk about all this.
And can you take control of the entire Great Sutton Street for any reason? Like, I don't know if it's possible.
Well, like close off the street?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of pubs in the street already, you know. So there's going to be a party or something like that. You may have to consider that, right?
It's something that we've wanted to do for a while. We've always said about pedestrianising the road, but there are actually a lot of people that do live in this street, like above the offices.
I can't believe it.
So I don't know where they're going to park their cars. That's the only issue. But I would love it if we could shut this road down and maybe have some sort of huge party. But I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen it. We have this thing here, Clerkenwell Design Week, and that's chaotic. That's usually in May. Yep. They've done better than Christmas for this area. It's insane. Obviously, it hasn't happened in 2020. I can't see it happening this year. I'd be shocked. If we could maybe throw something like that, but scale it down a little bit, because that's pretty intense and great. That'd be amazing. I'd love to have Salt of Lamb and Brewdog on board. It'd be great fun. It's very drunk people in the area, though. Yeah. Some of the beers that we put on with Brewdog is insane.
Getting like the approval to be the official partner or something like that to the festival, so then you're gonna be able to never close like having the street open for you. Oh man, look, I think that, including the fact that I want to meet Mannie and Ludo as well, because Natasha told me that you see, you can't really. I love this. This is the best comment.
Before we started, my wife, she's upstairs. She texted me. She was like, "Do you want the dogs to come down?" I was like, "It's freezing down here. They're going to come down. They're going to end up fighting and crying. They're going to want to go upstairs." So I've left them up there, but now I feel a little bit bad. But when we go out store, I'll have them around a lot more, because we have had customers in the past when we just had Mannie that used to turn up and open the door and be like, "Is Mannie here?" And I'm like, "No, I'll come back next time." It's like, you fucker! Like, you come here just to see my dog. I'm not bringing the dogs down.
Well, maybe these people, the fans, want to see some photos on Twitter. So you know what to post in the next days, all right?
I'll put plenty of photos up in the pub with the dogs.
Please. And hey, again, I'm trying always to don't go too far from the 40 minutes that I promised the followers we were gonna stay into. And we had a good amount of people watching it. More people are going to watch it after on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. And I wanted to talk with you from a long time. We made it. I'm so happy about it. And I can't wait to see the Sutton Arms open, and maybe give you a hug at the first beer and the last beer, and just enjoy again, right?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Well, yeah, when we get reopened and I can get I kind of did go off tap takeovers a little bit, but I really am looking forward to doing one now. So as soon as you get a tap takeover on, I'll send you a message and we'll get you over, and you can pour some pints for me as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, 100%. And hey, guys, support your industry, support the Sutton Arms. Never stop to think that we all had to be together into this. Otherwise, it's gonna be tough. And Jack, thank you very much for your time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, mate. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for everyone to watch. Have a lovely evening, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. We're gonna have a brewery from Ramsgate. So just saying, I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a good evening. Thanks, Jack.